Welcome in, J.A. Welcome in. All right. We are live, which means I can officially, only 30 minutes in, start actually talking about books on Book Talk Tuesday. All right. Rachel, this book is crazy AF. Yo, thank you for the follow. I did put the 3-book deal into the catalog. If anybody wants the 9-book deal, just let me know, and we will very quickly put the whole series in a stack, take a picture, and then the deal for 9 books is $130. And that is flat out crazy to get 9 books for $130. The other way to do it, if you want to, is it until the 17th, or is that deal gone? On colorworldbooks.com? Do we know? We don't know. Colorworldbooks.com. We're going to check right now and confirm whether or not you can still buy the deal on the website. Let's see. It is. Okay. You can grab. I'll put this link in chat for anybody to get the 9-book deal price. Simply head to boom, and then I will copy that for all of you here, and then paste. Okay, fantastic. There is the website, the colorworldbooks.com website, that if you want to grab the 9-book deal, you can grab that right on colorworldbooks.com/shop. All right. This book is crazy, Rachel. For the second time, you've taken us back in history.
Yep.
So we knew who Rita Long was from Ezra? Is that the first place that we meet Rita?
No, we meet her in book 5.
In Dreamworld?
Yep.
What does she do in book 5?
She works with Gabe in Human Movement.
Okay, so we already know about the human movement in... Yes. Because that's what Gabe is doing. Okay. All right, cool. Look, man, I've read a lot of books, read a lot of Colorworld lately. Okay, plus we've been talking... So Dreamworld starts the events in which nobody knows what they're doing. It's clear that Gabe has lost a part of his history. Wendy's lost a part of her history. She becomes this guild personality. Let me see if there's a way to do so we can look at both cameras at the same time. Does that work?
Better.
Oh. All right. Yes, that's way better. Then we can look at both cameras at the same time. Okay. So Gabe and Wendy, they've lost part of their... We don't get the sense in Dreamworld, though, that other people have lost memory, right?
In Dreamworld?
In Dreamworld.
No, we do. We are told that, actually. So remember when the guild calls Gabe in.
Okay.
And it's like, hey, we want to ask you about your missing memory.
Okay.
And then that's when they reveal, like, we've actually had a number of people who've lost memories of varying degrees. And so we're trying to figure out
if they're connected.
Happened. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to go back and read. I think I'm going to read Dreamworld again. One, because I'm so sad that this is over. And then 2, I think it's like when you watch like a movie series and then there's Easter eggs along the way, but you really miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You miss the best of what's there. Hey, David, welcome back. Welcome back. But then when you know, then you can go back and you're like, oh, it's even better than I thought it was. That's what I feel like is going to be. And I might just start with Shadow World, and then that'll get me so hyped that I'm going to just lock myself in the office, schedule everybody to go into the recording studio, record the audiobook.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Because
you definitely know the book as the director.
Well, yes. But I think that just like I was consumed to stay up, it honestly wasn't as much about getting ready for Book Talk Tuesday to stay up until 12:30 a.m. Hey, Sarah Womack. It's almost Sarah, but it's Sariah. Oh yes, Cape Anime Convention. yes, are we on their page then? Are we listed as a vendor? I'm like, how did you even know we were there? But we must be listed somewhere then. Okay. So, David, I'm going to assume that you mean like, what is the Color World book series about? And it is about Wendy.
She's a college student.
No, I was going to say Wendy Wheatley.
Wendy
What?
Whitley?
Whitley? I'm pretty sure I say Wendy Wheatley in my head. Rachel gets. She's probably half. This is hilarious, and half like my husband is so stupid.
Just as long as when the movies get made, we call people by their correct names.
So don't say Ong.
Don't say Ong. Or Lois or Wheatley.
Do you know that I almost on stream the other day called Ang Ong? And I was like, oh wait, I forget. I'm the only person that thinks it's acceptable to call him Ong. Oh man. Okay. So the book series is about Wendy. Is it Whitley?
Whitley.
Yes. Wheatley's better. Wendy Whitley, who is a college student. She's broke as a joke. She's trying to get by. This allergy study becomes available. And she's like, yes, that's easy money. Test whatever you want on me, and I'll tell you if I'm allergic to it. But she wakes up. She's chained to a bed. People are dead, and she demands to know what the flip has happened to her. And then her brother's like, when it kind of went a little rogue on us, and you probably shouldn't touch anybody till we figure this out. Hey, thank you for grabbing the illustrated edition of Color World. I love the illustrated editions.
It's soft. If we could show it on stream, how soft it is.
I'm tempted to run and go grab that. Let me finish what the book is about, and I'm going to run and go grab that. It's so soft. Like, we've all put the illustrated edition to our face. Like, you could use the illustrated edition. It's a soft touch cover. You could use it as a pillow. It's amazing. Okay. So Wendy is in college. She basically goes rogue. I mean, like rogue from the X-Men. So she gets all gloved up, and the people. Oh, you should definitely be excited because the illustrated edition is fire.
Okay, focus.
She goes back to the people who conducted the allergy study and demands that they undo whatever it is they did to her, because she's like, if you did it to me, you ought to be able to undo it to me. And that's how we start down the road of Wendy. And we find out that it may be because she's able to do other things, that she was targeted from the very beginning. And so you start out with Wendy and Ezra, her brother. Gabe and Kaylin enter soon thereafter. And then this trio, Gabe, Wendy.
It's like quadruple.
Oh, it's not a trio because there's quadruple.
What do you call it?
The quartet.
A quartet.
This quartet.
Except usually you don't call a quartet unless it's musical in some way.
I mean, there's a musicality to the quartet in Color World. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's gonna come full circle. All right. So if you don't like spoilers, when I start really, because this is book 9, when I start really going into it, I will not be offended if you're like, I'm out, guys. I'm excited.
Although it's far enough in the future, I feel like you'll get enough to be excited, but it won't be like ruined for you.
There'll be a lot of gaps, and depending on how quickly you read.
And if you remember it is the other thing. You're gonna have to remember what we talked about now through all.
It's true. Because clearly I've forgotten some details.
Yeah.
It's really just Rachel that makes me look bad every week. All right. I'm gonna be right back.
Well, I'm gonna show the interior.
Okay.
It's just brand new. So I'm systematically going through and giving everything like a makeover. And so this is the image that my daughter Bea drew the birds actually. And I loved them so much that I was like, we have to do this with all the books. We have to make a new. So all the chapter headings have this like flock of birds, which is very relevant to what the books are about. But I was really excited to be able to use her art. I was like, Bess. In fact, I should show her this. You can see interior art. Focus by Bea Kelly. Let's see if I can do that here too. Bea Kelly. And then the other thing that's really cool about this book, most of them have a dedication of some kind, but this is a cool dedication. It says, to Novin. Novin's my 16-year-old son. To Novin, whose obsession with ants impressed upon me the magic of emergence. So it was literally my son Novin who he watches. I don't know if anybody out there has watched Ants Canada. It's a guy who keeps ants, and Novin is just obsessed with him and loves ants and loves everything about them.
Oh,
and
I
knows
caught
all
that.
of these crazy facts and stuff. Well, yeah, I was telling him I showed Novin the dedication.
To Novin, whose obsession with ants impressed upon all. What did he say?
Oh no, he loved it. I could tell. You know, Novin's a man of few words.
I know.
So he was pretty he's like, oh,
In his
awesome.
Novin way, you could tell that you got to him. Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
So, and then I was saying also, look who also.
Oh, did you show Bear that?
I realized that I hadn't shown
man.
her. So yeah.
You gotta show Bear.
Show Bear that on there. So I was very excited that Sariah is the first book that has two of my kids featured, heavily influenced. You know, they're part of imprint, which is cool.
Well, I definitely saw that from a mile away. As soon as any mention of the fascination with animal homes, I was like, oh man, that's totally like Rachel and Novin and their love of documentaries and animals and the natural world.
Well, my son Novin is autistic.
Also caught that.
And I'm telling these lovely
I know, I'm just saying.
All right, so here's the illustrated edition, and it's really hard to I don't know, show the cover, the texture.
No, you can't.
You really can't.
But it is that soft.
It's very soft, and it's nice to hold. It's a good holding book.
I will say, if you think that you want to continue on the illustrated edition, you should grab the last copy of Teleworld. This is the last copy of Teleworld Illustrated that we know of in existence that hasn't been purchased. We have to buy these 125 at a time, and it makes it quite the chunk of money to reprint. It does have, it looks like some red fruit punch on the one dot, so I could knock some off there. But if you want to get the illustrated,
this cover is really cool too. So there's what he's talking about on the end there.
And then here is, I love Garrett.
I love the cover
so much.
Of book 3. There's the illustrated book 3. Very cool. I love how you can kind of see the hands reaching around from the backside, which is super cool.
And she may have already jumped off since I said I was going to do spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So last copy of Illustrated Teleworld. I do have some more Luma World, and then I do have some more Color World. But book 2, it just depends on where we're at in the cycle in terms of which book I feel like we're out of. Okay, so let's jump into Sariah. At what point? Okay, so we knew about Rita. And I'm trying to remember, I know that you say that, a lot of things are just as fresh to you as they are to the reader, and that you kind of learn about them as you're writing them. At what point did you, because in a lot of ways, this book is Rita's story too.
Yeah, I had considered for a while writing a book from Rita's point of view. It was going to be Rita, but somehow it just ended up being her friend Sariah.
So so did you start out that way? Doing Rita, and then you're like, Sariah
I wrote a couple chapters of Rita that I felt were compelling, but her story just wasn't coming to me. I knew that she had a history with Gabe, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to write an entire book from her obsessive point of view. She's really pretty obsessed with him. And
that definitely came through.
Yeah, and so I was like, I don't know that I want to get in this person's head for an entire book. So maybe I'll just have somebody who's close to her where we can see Rita from a distance.
So is that how Sariah was born?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, man, did you take a left turn with... So Sariah is essentially this completely sheltered girl that comes from a religious family, Jewish, I feel like, and then ends up in bed with Gabe. Yeah.
I mean, she's raised in a very conservative home. Her parents are very strict, and she's not really sure how she feels about it, but she does have this belief in something greater than herself. So I would definitely say that she believes in God, and she believes that God is working in her life. She calls it synchronicity.
Yeah. I was like, it's an S word.
Yes,
because she says it.
Which is a thing. Synchronicity is the more like politically correct, scientific way to talk about what you like to call God incidents.
Oh, the fact that for those people that don't believe in completely random.
Yeah, if you like things that happen that are related that seem to like somehow they mean something to each other, but statistically speaking, they shouldn't be happening.
Right.
Right. We call that
synchronicity.
Yeah, as people of faith, we say, well, that's God. That's God in our life.
People not of faith.
Yeah. So Sariah calls it synchronicity. And that's kind of where she's taken her faith. So I don't know that she shares her parents' belief so much. She just.
So are you? So if somebody that would, I mean, is there a dictionary definition for synchronicity?
Yes.
So what's the dictionary? Because as you're talking, I'm like, that's like having your cake and eat it too, is what it sounds like. It's like God light.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm always really careful about. I don't want to get all preachy on people.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like a lot of modern Christians are very preachy.
Yo, Wolf, what is up? Wolf. This week's Book Talk Tuesday is the latest book in the Color World book series. It's Sariah, book 9. So
I think synchronicity is a lot more what most people believe in, who aren't necessarily church-going people. That people who believe in God but don't go to church probably believe in synchronicity.
Well, they would have to, right?
An apparently meaningful coincidence in time of two or more similar or identical events that are causally unrelated. So, you might want to read that a few times.
Yeah, unrelated.
They seem unrelated, but somehow.
Well, this says the dictionary definition disallows any room for there to be, because it seems to me like, isn't that a little convenient that somebody would believe that they're not causally related?
Well, yeah, if someone was trying to explain it away.
I mean, it literally says apparently. This is like a word invented by people that needed the most logical explanation for why they would believe there isn't a God.
Well,
right?
If you go to the Wikipedia article on synchronicity, it's quite a bit more in depth than
it would have
the dictionary definition. So there's been like books written on synchronicity.
You'd have to do something because that is the most.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at the word apparently meaningful. I'm pretty sure if you're talking about the concept of synchronicity, you've already declared them meaningful. The coincidence, you know what I mean? Doesn't that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like if you're wanting to use the term, you've already identified their coincidence as meaningful. But you're hell-bent on not attribute. That's a lot of words. Mm-hmm. I definitely think my vision is shot today.
Circumstances that appear meaningfully related yet lack a causal connection. A person's subjective experience that coincidences between events in their mind and the outside world may be causally unrelated to each other, yet have some other unknown connection, i.e., God.
You added that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say.
The IE part was me.
Okay. What does IE stand for or mean?
It's Latin for...
I figured.
Oh,
really?
Now I gotta look it up.
That's interesting. You're not usually one to throw terms around without knowing exactly. Chillin'.
Latin phrases.
Are you in North Carolina, Wolf? I cannot remember which state you're in. I feel like it's North Carolina. What state are you in, Wolf?
Id est. That is. Literally, that is.
That is. Literally. No, it is.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Oh. No, you don't have to buy the book. I mean, we're definitely gonna do some spoilers. And whenever it makes sense, you can always go to colorworldbooks.com and grab however many
There's
books you want.
There's also the digital versions, which are quite a bit cheaper. because you don't have a physical book.
Yeah, man, you could do the Kindle version for sure.
Yeah, if you have Amazon
California.
Prime.
Okay, there you go.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can borrow the first book in the lending library for sure.
I think it's the first 3.
Yeah.
Color World, Teleworld, and Loom World are all available for free with Amazon Prime in the lending library. All right. So, Sariah, you start out telling Rita's story, but Rita's story is so scary that you're like,
That girl has problems.
I need somebody close to her.
Yeah.
What do you think? Sariah really is an amazing person. I find myself really like I would be friends with Sariah. She's a really good person.
And she's really loyal. She's very loyal.
Well, not only that, but I think about the kind of person that would be willing to even allow Rita in their sphere of influence for as long as Sariah did. Right? There's so many signs that you should just run from Rita.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, that part for me was kind of my personal experience growing up. Like, I was the Sariah, and like my friend was the Rita. And she always had some issue. Like, there was always some problem with her parents. She had like an eating disorder, and she like
apparently you wanted to punch her a lot.
Yeah, like, she'd get drunk, and she like, please make sure if I get drunk that I don't go sleep with somebody. So then I'd have to like hunt her down and like make sure she had her clothes on. Like, it's like, that experience of like protecting somebody from themselves. So I had that experience, and I remained friends with her, and yeah, it was a lot of work, but I think she was loyal to me because I was loyal to her. Like, we were friends because of that loyalty that we had for each other. So despite the fact that I was always like having to be like the parent, it worked, I guess. I kind of got out there because I was pretty shy, and I wasn't very good at talking to people. I wasn't very good at social situations, so she would always drag me along.
Protecting your friend is what got you into the world.
Yeah. So like, we go to a party. Like, I would never have been at that party if she hadn't brought me with her. So, I would never have known this person or that person unless she brought me there and, introduced me. Like, I was not outgoing at all. So.
Wolf, thanks for stopping by, man. You take it easy. Yeah, the coins? Yeah, go for it. Grab all the coins.
All the coins, you know the change, you know that.
Yeah. That's a good question. I will look in here, and then Rachel, will you look in the desk drawer to see? We're getting ready for the next set of events, and so 3J is about to split the coins and the bills, and we ran out of pennies last time, so we're gonna make sure that
I don't see any coins in here.
No, look in the top drawer, like in the back.
No.
Oh, you know what?
There's none in here.
I know where it is. Okay. Well, Rachel, you're probably gonna have to hold down the stream for a sec, because it is in the opposite end of this property, all the way up on the table in our bedroom on the desk.
Well, why don't you tell 3J to go there?
I mean, sure. Okay, you know where my bedroom is?
I don't, but what floor is it on?
Just have one of the kids show you.
Okay.
There's a desk in there.
There's a desk in there.
And then it's under my stack of the shirts that I normally wear to shows.
Yeah. There's only one desk there, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Only one desk, only one stack of shirts you wear to shows.
Yes.
They're all new.
Top left of the desk.
They're all new.
I mean, one of them is a white Yoko, but it definitely has neon colors on it. All right.
Yeah, so I was friends with my friend for the same reason that Sariah was friends with Rita. Although, for the record, because if at some point my friend comes and watches
this
the
broadcast
stream,
and knows exactly who she
nowhere
is.
near the crazy that is Rita. It was just inspired by that. So, Sariah's loyalty was inspired by my loyalty to my friend. And my friend never did anything even remotely as terrible as what Rita does to Sariah. So I want to be clear about that.
And then welcome in.
And the character Rita isn't even based off of her. Like, personality-wise, is very different.
Yeah, it's literally just the whole,
Yeah.
sheltered person.
Is friends
with adventurous person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sarai, welcome back. Marco, welcome back. Hey, Tabby. Not too Tabby. How's it going? Tabby, did you already get your subscription shirt for this month? I feel like
we talked about
I
that
feel
last
like
time.
maybe we did.
Last week we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. In terms of, did you know the second that Sariah got back from the date with Gabe, like it was all gonna hit the fan? Like I was so afraid of her courage at that moment that I was like, please just shut up. Please just, oh no, this is all over with. Like, to me, I saw that moment from like a mile away.
Oh, in terms of Rita
Like,
finding out that she was dating.
No,
Gabe.
in terms of, as soon as she mouthed off to Rita and was like, bitch, you ain't never gonna get my man. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of your attitude. I'm tired of all the back. I'm just tired. I'm tired of it. He's mine. I win. Bitch, get in your lane. And as soon as she did that, I was like, bitch, you gonna die. And then sure enough, Rita just, that was it. Did you, like, I saw that from a mile away. I was like, crap, where is your normal reserve girl? You better put that all that confidence back in its place or it's gonna, yep, you're done. You didn't?
I probably orchestrated that a little bit. I needed Rita to lose it. I needed Rita to just like go crazy. And Sariah needed to stand up for herself. So
great.
There had to be, I think Sariah at that point was like, she's gonna have to choose, right? She's gonna choose between Rita and Gabe. And so her way of making it not her choice was to like basically make Rita super mad at her and cause Rita to do what she did. So there's a little bit of self-sabotage, I think, just because.
So you needed it as a plot device?
Well, Sariah could have gone about it differently.
Yeah.
She could have like sat down with Rita and had like an adult conversation.
Sure. But instead she was
I don't know that it would have gone any better.
What? You don't think it was her pushing buttons that like
she didn't push buttons. She told her way before and knew that.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with, because they all knew that Rita was dating Mike and Sariah was dating Gabe. Everybody knew that. They literally were at a double date. So there was no mystery. They went to the stadium together.
Sure. Okay. And so what's your question?
My question is, did you know?
As the writer? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to push Rita to get Rita to flip out.
Just because you needed it as a plot device?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I did. Well,
that was rough.
Plus, I really needed Rita, not just for Sariah's sake, but I needed Rita to sort of go beyond the point of no return. Like, for Rita to be pushed to a point where she was going to do something that she couldn't take back. Like, as a character, she was still kind of redeemable before then. And she still is, obviously, but it's going to be a lot harder for her to.
She's like full on Endeavor at this point.
Yeah, she's manipulated so much of the situation that it's going to be really hard for her to have any friends now.
Did you have to take a minute after that happened? Like, what was your writing process like?
I remember I was really sad for Sariah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really sad for her. And just thinking about just the sheer selfishness of Rita it's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. It was terrible. And I have to admit, I didn't have a second thought about Wendy in this book. Like, to me, until we get to the modern day, I don't even think about Wendy one time.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, yeah. I did.
You did?
When I wrote in the fact that Sariah was pregnant. I mean, that was hard for me to do that to Wendy. That was really hard. Like, when I wrote that part in, I was like, I was so uncomfortable with it.
Really?
I was so.
Well, where did that idea come from?
Well, I knew that Matthias existed. Matthias existed way before anything. So
you started...
Sariah as a single mother existed. I wrote.
Okay.
I did not write the prelude until many edits in. So the book originally started in today, modern day, with Sariah as a single mother.
Oh, you're saying that all this history with Rita didn't exist?
Didn't know. I wrote all that in after I went through and didn't like the story. And I was like, I don't even
Wait, what now? Okay, you're saying that you started with this woman in Eugene, Oregon.
As a waitress. The Sariah waitress.
That's where you started?
That's where I started.
No way.
And she had a son. So I knew she had a son. And so the question, when I added all this history, I was like, the question then became,
who's the dad?
Who is the dad of this kid? And I was like, oh my gosh, no.
Really?
Like, yeah. I wrote that very last. That was very last thing that I added in.
Was it really? Was chapter whatever that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did it feel out of character for Gabe to have, or is it get attributed to youth?
Well, I mean, it's implied in other books that Gabe's, he's not a virgin. he's messed around. Yeah. Yeah. He's there's been no declaration of him believing in sexual purity.
Huh.
So just that, he really wants commitment and has not been able to obtain it despite. So
I get that. Commitment, man. It's tough to find. Welcome in, Alex. Welcome in, Emily. We are talking about Sariah, which is book 9 in the Colorworld book series. For those folks that want to start further in the past, there is number 1 of the illustrated edition, Colorworld, and then you can either start at Colorworld, or where I normally put them? Yep, that's a good place to put them. And that's why it's good to do things out of system or habit, because then so there's the original color of Colorworld, number 1, Colorworld. And then you can also start at book 5, which is a monster of a book. It is designed that if you're a Star Wars fan, you could either start at episode 4, and then if you fall in love, you can go back and go see the prequels, episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you can just jump in here and then go forward, which is actually what Aaron, who owns Zova Marketing, the marketing firm we work with full time, he actually jumped in. We tested the theory, and he jumped into book 5 and loved it. And so I'm excited to see what he thinks of. What he thinks of all the volumes of Waterworld. And I kind of wish, do you ever get tempted to just write a book this size just forever and ever and ever? Have you ever thought about just we now know that the universe is so big when you get to this point. Have you thought about Shri, Horatio, trying to think of who else. Kaylin you could have 3 volumes of Kaylin. There's, especially after Sariah, there's so much of Kaylin.
Probably. There's so much work to make everything fit together. I could clearly write a story about any of those characters that has nothing to do with Colorworld. But the second it has something to do with Colorworld's story, I now have to find a way to weave it in.
You don't think
Horatio might be someone interesting to write just because he obviously has a lot of history.
Right.
And Kaylin's definitely someone that I might eventually Kaylin still was on the table for a long time as getting one of these books.
Oh, that to me sounds so complicated.
But because her story sort of
it predates,
ish,
it coincides.
Except that, yeah.
Yeah.
Except that toward the end, then we're kind of
wondering. You mean the end?
Yeah.
I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. It was you just at the very last chapter, you're like, oh yeah? You think you know what this book is about? And then you spit the pin out, and I was like, oh crap, somebody jump on that grenade. Nope. It just exploded. Holy crap.
So how did Kaylin get to that point would definitely be the part that I would have to write about with this story. But I think that it's not going to be needed.
Not really. They all, or the majority of them, have stickers on them.
I see that.
I have considered though recently writing
Welcome in, Tasha.
book
Natty.
7 and then writing book 8
Yes.
because I like 13 is my favorite number.
Please.
And 12, it would be 12 books.
Yes.
I think 13.
Write another book, girl.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm here to read it. Okay, for those, so welcome in everybody. Emily, Kimberly, there's a lot of new folks. This is book 1 in the Colorworld book series. That's in the catalog. So is the illustrated edition with the soft touch. You can use this as a pillow cover. It's gorgeous. And it is beautiful and it is super soft. The back. And then there are illustrations. So the way the illustrated editions work is that each artist who draws in the illustrated edition reads the book that they're assigned and they pick whichever 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 scenes that speak to them, and they can visual artists can make you see what they see in their head. And the reason that we have so many different artists is because we did not want, Rachel was afraid of making you see a version of Wendy that like didn't jive with what you thought or saw. And by having so many different artists, we just keep reimagining Wendy, and it's great. And then you can continue to have the version you love in your head, or you can pick one of the ones in the illustrated edition. So original book 1, illustrated book 1. I only have one copy. Oh, there's illustrated book 1. Only one copy left of illustrated book 2, which is Teleworld. So if you are a person that wants to go down that rabbit hole, there is only one copy in existence left of book 2. And then illustrated book 3, probably a lot of people's favorite cover. That's Gabe. Yeah, that's Ezra. That is, what's her name?
Kaylin.
Is that really? That's a really cool Kaylin.
I think that's Sam.
Is that Mike?
I think this is Farland.
Oh, really?
This is Sam.
Oh,
these are all
man.
people who have touched her.
Oh, I love it.
And then Death.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love it. It's a great cover. Really, really great cover for Luma World. Sam's my dude. Really, really cool. I love it. Cover art by Garrett. I need to find Garrett. We need to do the comic, man. I want to jump back in and just keep telling the story all over again. All right. So those books are in there. The 3-book combo is in there. The 9-book combo, we can either put it in there for you, or go to colorworldbooks.com, and all 9 books are there for $130, which is a heck of a deal. All right. So did you like pause at all when Rita ruins everyone's life?
Well, no, remember I had already written most of the rest of the book.
Oh, okay. So did she didn't know who the father was?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know who the father was. I played around with like
Really?
some possibilities, and I was like, oh, this is boring.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what it would be like, because pretty soon into when you jump into the world and she's a waitress. So is Eugene, Oregon? I'm guessing that's a I see you there, Brad.
Well, and it's on the coast, or it's near the coast of
There's a lot of
Northwest.
cities on the coast.
Yeah, but
She
it's
could have been in
small. I
Seattle.
needed a smaller
Okay.
town. And yeah, I've been there several times, which was the other thing. I wanted some place that I was familiar with.
Quack quack,
so,
baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whether it was intended to or not, it's all for me as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, it was for you.
Since I'm a Ducks fan, as soon as I saw Eugene, I was like, oh, heart emoji, heart. I tapped my screen. I loved it. Hit my book. Love. It's like the Pop Shop lightning bolts. All right. So she's in Eugene, Oregon, in your original draft, and she's the mother of an autistic child who you have no idea who the father is. Well, how do you explain the guy that comes to the park if you don't know?
Well, that happened originally. I wasn't sure who this guy was, how
Oh,
he showed
really?
up, how he was
So you
relevant.
have this random guy.
Yeah, like that was for sure going to happen. Like I knew that she was going to witness this guy killing himself. As sort of a, and it was originally as this sort of motivation to like move her life forward.
So that's why people have to die, huh? You're like, I need this person's life to move forward.
Yeah, so it really wasn't until later that I made the connection of him and Rita, and sort of like this haunting past for Sariah, this reminder of this past that she couldn't remember.
So do you do this with people in real life? Like, are you now a big believer that the whole reason that people have to die is to continue to move the story of humanity forward?
Oh, well, I'm sure that that's a huge thing. I mean, if we weren't mortal, why would we would just kind of like sail along. Like, you know, there would never be an end point. We're never like rushing to get things done before the end point. Whereas mortality reminds us that we have limited time to accomplish whatever it is we want to accomplish.
So you think being on the why do you think
What's up,
people hey, what's up, Eric? Speaking of illustrated editions, Eric, don't forget to turn in your illustrated edition of Dreamworld.
Would love to see that.
Don't forget, we finally have a budget to print and pay for such a thing. So, yes, but is your illustrated edition here now?
I'd love for that to be.
Yeah, that'd be great. I might. I'm trying to think if I would read. It would depend on the sales of the 5th illustrated book as to whether or not I went back. There would have to be some demand for the 2nd illustrated book for me to hit the reprint button on that. I'm not opposed to it.
The reprint button on
Teleworld, the illustrated Teleworld.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, I can't just drop like $1,000 on a book. Oh, this week? Well, don't forget about the Vegeta.
Nobody cares about Vegeta.
People definitely care about Vegeta.
Nobody cares about Vegeta. Just see the books.
Oh my gosh.
We care.
The Vegeta has a time frame where it's.
Yes, I agree. I love all of the ones that you've done so far. So.
Oh man, tarot version sounds amazing. Yeah. I do love Eric's. We need to do a metal tarot deck. Do you have a full tarot deck, Eric? Because if you do, you need to tell me what size tarot card should. I guess I could Google what size tarot card should be, but you should format it for that size plus a bleed. Okay. Oh, the Naruto. That Naruto commission looks amazing. All right. So you start this. He kills himself, and then okay. What made you pick Wyoming? I guess somehow I missed.
Well, that's where Wendy ended up.
Did we know that?
Yeah, that's from book 5.
But did we know it was in Wyoming?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I could.
Yeah, because I was like, what? Wyoming? Rachel hates Wyoming. Maybe there's a part of Rachel that doesn't hate Wyoming. Are you not? You're never tempted. What makes you hate Wyoming?
Actually, I based that ranch off of the ranch where Rhiann and what's her husband's name now?
Yeah.
McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Got married. It's beautiful there.
Why do you hate Wyoming so much?
Because every time I drive through it, it's like windy and gross.
Okay, sure. The Wyoming.
I never want to drive through Wyoming ever.
Well, don't do it from October to March. I'll tell you that. It is one of the most dangerous things I've ever done. Maybe even the most dangerous thing I've ever done was to drive on Highway 80 West while it was closed, while it was shut down during a blizzard. Really stupid.
It's set against a gorgeous backdrop, the rugged landscape of northern Wyoming. And then later in the book, when it talks about like going into town, it mentions Cody.
Okay.
So.
It's just so I'm always so like taken aback by your hatred for the great state of Wyoming.
Well, it's a good place to disappear, which is.
What is real estate like in Wyoming?
I don't know. I haven't looked in years.
Oh man, I love.
Plus, Robert has tons of money, so he doesn't.
So he doesn't care. Although I feel like Cody, Wyoming, is not even.
Well, if you've read Ezra,
affordable.
you know there was a specific reason he purchased that ranch, and it was not as a hideout. Do you remember?
No. Gonna have to, okay. Well, now the good news is I no longer have to be sad that Sariah is over because I'm just gonna start. Now I get why Sam rereads the book. I get it. What I don't get is why every single one of you hasn't purchased a copy of the book. God, I honestly don't. It's such spectacular writing.
Like in the middle of nowhere. Some of them, they're all set in different places. You know, Dreamworld is all over the place. You can pick any of your favorite. I love that tarot card that you did that was inspired by Puerto Rico. You were talking about like a statue in Lattes, I feel like, is where you told me it was. And you actually put that as one of the tarot cards, which was neat.
You know what's really interesting, Eric?
Eric's great at Easter eggs.
Oh, Eric is phenomenal at Easter eggs.
Yeah.
But what you know what I think? I think honestly, the Like a Boss series, I don't think we would have ever got as far with it if it wasn't for Eric. Like, I already didn't want to do villains and bad guys to begin with, but Eric is so good at the dead heroes on the back. There was always an Easter egg that I was like, okay, it's like the two of us together made it into something that I think is really exciting. What's funny, Eric, is I love cities. I absolutely love cities.
It's actually super pretty.
Feel comfortable in cities. Love to go back to Cincinnati. Love to be. I don't like LA at all. There are the part around the Galco Soda Pop stop. I do like that one part, and maybe that's the Burbank area.
No, I don't think it's in Burbank. I feel like it's near Pasadena.
It's Galco's?
Yeah.
I thought it was northwest.
It's down the 210.
Galco's? I think you're misremembering Galco's. Yeah, get a phone, Google, or type in Galco Soda Pop. If anybody that lives in California hasn't been to, is that excitement for Galco Soda Pop stop? If it is, you've definitely been there. It is an amazing place on
Highland
Earth.
Park.
Right?
You would take the 210. Look, right by Pasadena. I was right.
Wow, you are awesome. I'm more and more impressed with you every day. It's northeast of LA and not northwest. I definitely knew it was north of, because I feel like south of LA is just no bueno, because that's where Compton is,
I don't
right?
know what's going on down there.
South of LA,
I don't
Compton,
know. I don't
Inglewood.
know South LA very well, like the least of all the places.
Sure you do.
I do, but
that's
it's
where
like
you get shot.
So I mean, you know,
right? I'm serious.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I know. I don't.
Huntington Park,
like
Inglewood, Downey.
You're like Irvine. I'm like, yeah, Irvine.
Yeah,
but like in my head, I can't picture where that is.
Down 57.
Somewhere south.
No, Irvine is down 57. It's below Anaheim.
Yeah, all that down there.
Yeah, but that's oh god.
I know the 210.
210 is north.
Irvine 57.
Okay, but Irvine is down 57.
Okay.
Just way down 57.
All the way down. I don't know that.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's because we never had enough money to live down there, and none of our friends live down there because those people got money. Yeah. Irvine, even Santa Ana's too far south. We know Covina, West Covina. that's our hood.
City of Industry.
Pomona. Yeah, everywhere there's a Walmart because there's no Walmarts down south. Downey, Compton. Yeah, I really don't.
Culver City.
Too much money in Culver City.
But I know Culver City.
Well, but it's on 60, which is like, that's a weird freeway. The 60 is like the forgotten California freeway because it's not 10, it's not 210, it's not the 105, the 405.
There's definitely a different feel on that side of LA.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There's a weird feel, because if you ever gone 60 East, because you can take 60 East, right, Hacienda Heights, right, Diamond Bar. Yes, you had. Chuck's parents literally live in Hacienda Heights.
They live in Hacienda Heights?
Or Roland Heights.
I was going to say, wait.
I mean, hello, that's like 5 miles from each other. You're the worst. All right. Anyway.
Torch of torches and ask God to help me get there. Oh, wow. I mean, that'll do it.
Oh, chill. I thought for a second I thought it's a chicken decided to march with torches.
Saw a bunch of torches coming their way and got scared because they thought it was an army coming to kill them, so they left the island right then and there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
That's a cool story. And that's San Juan?
Yeah.
Very cool. It is interesting though that
I'm trying to convince Brad. I don't know that there's much convincing, but at some point we want to go to Puerto Rico.
oh no.
They're building a temple there.
No,
So
we're in fact I told her to invite you, Eric. I told her that we should all go to Puerto Rico, and I would like to do.
Has to be after I learn Spanish, though.
I would
Gotta
like to
get better
do
at
Puerto
Spanish.
Rico Comic Con, which will be off the table by the time there's a temple in Puerto Rico. So,
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
All right. I'm trying to think of everything that's in. Did you write all the way to the end before you went back and added the?
No, I probably wrote.
Yeah, how far in the original draft
There
did you
were
get?
lots of different.
Did Rita
endings.
already come back?
Yes.
Really? The connection to me with Ryan, I was like, was it hard to come up with all the connections of like Ryan and Rita? I was like, oh my gosh.
No, not really. So really kind of like chapter 39. So the last.
Oh,
couple
that's
chapters,
almost all of it.
I had them all together.
So you had them
They
on
were
the
traveling-
water tower?
Yes, they were traveling together.
What?
They encountered Gabe, but I hadn't really gotten like some closure for the end. I say closure.
There's no closure in this book. There's
some closure.
There's 0% closure in this book.
Well, yeah. Now we know that Gabe has this crazy power, and
yeah, but we knew that in Ezra.
We never saw it in that
degree.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's the only thing, because you literally pulled the pin on a grenade in the last chapter, in the last page.
Mm.
You even name drop. If I command 4, oh, there is. So if I go back and I read Charlotte for Luxos, am I gonna catch more than I did the first time?
Oh, I'm sure, because then they'll be relevant. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I know who those people are.
Craziness.
Probably most books will be like that. You'll go back and you'll be like, I didn't realize that was in.
Did you know that, or did you just like how much of what we don't know do you know in the previous books?
What?
I'm saying you're like killing people for plot devices, like
killing people for plot devices.
Yeah, you just said that.
Oh, well, I killed Rocco for a plot device.
Oh, right. And the guy in the park.
Yes, but he died. He was gonna die originally. It was like he was always gonna die. It was like the first scene that I wrote for Sariah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
She's a waitress. There's a guy. She falls into the park. He kills himself. It's since the very beginning.
Simple.
That was the thing that happened.
Okay.
So what happened after that? What happened before that? Were added. There was always Sariah going to Wyoming to hunt down Paul. And then from then, it was kind of like everything has kind of changed a little bit.
Are you rooting for anything? Like, talk about Team Mike versus Team Gabe. Holy crap. Is there a Team Paul versus Team Gabe?
You can't have everybody fighting over Wendy. That's not fun.
Well, clearly everyone's fighting over Gabe. Like, Rita, Wendy, Sariah.
Yeah, but Sariah isn't really contending for Gabe at this point, though. Now, clearly, they're going to be involved in some way because,
Well, sure. Because Wendy's like, you got to tell this dude.
Yeah.
What does Wendy do? Do we know anything? Do you know anything?
Yeah. I mean, she's an empath, and she's gotten really good at it.
Oh,
so she's
sure.
been in a vehicle with Sariah, who's like, going through this like mental anguish.
I love how Sariah attempts to shield her thoughts from Wendy. That was such a farce for me.
Oh, well, I'm sure everybody would try it, but whether they would be successful is,
Well, I gotta tell you, Wendy's like power level is insane. You talk about unreasonable power levels in Dragon Ball Z. Wendy is like Super Saiyan past Super. She's Ultra Instinct.
Oh, you mean
Wendy.
like in terms of what she can read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of everything, she seems to be so confident by the time we.
Well, did you read the end of Dream World? She is confident.
I feel like I don't know anything at this point. I feel like I missed everything. She is like nothing seems to phase her. That whole plane thing, I was like, I guess I knew in my heart of hearts that it was.
Well, look, she's got. You have to remember, Wendy's had Robert on her side, and if you read Ezra, your mind should be blown, and you should be like, "Holy crap! Robert has orchestrated everything. This is all going to work out somehow." So Wendy has like this assurance that Robert has set up the dominoes, and all she has to do is follow through. So it's really a faith thing. So she's gotten all the way through Dreamworld.
You're saying
and she's like, "Holy crap! How could I doubt at this point?" With all that I've seen, with all that I've known that Robert has been behind, that he's been orchestrating, and how, who Ezra is, like, of course she's confident. And if you don't realize that, you should go back and read Dreamworld and Ezra.
I'm gonna go. I'm Kimberly. Welcome back. Is that Blanca? Blanca, welcome back.
So I'm not sure what
Linda.
Wendy you're remembering, but it's not the right Wendy.
Well, so much of the Color World series is Wendy trying to find her footing.
Yeah.
And I feel like in Sariah, she's not finding her footing. She's kicking everyone.
Well, again, I mean, do I need to find in Dreamworld where she's
I mean, you don't have to. I told you, I'm so sad that I finished this book that I'm gonna go grab a copy of Shadow World and get to reading. And then I'm gonna go into Dream World. I'm just gonna keep. I would imagine
if you're gonna repeat reading books, it would definitely be good to start with Shadow World, just because that's when things start getting complicated.
Well, not only that, but it's the audiobook that I'm directing next.
Yeah.
And I need to get scripts to everybody, and I wanna really know what I'm excited that we've done Book Talk Tuesday, because I really feel that I know like 200 times more than I did previously.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like knowing the subject matter makes you a better director.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I should, if only I could interview Peter Jackson about. It's interesting that he took such a terrible book series and made such a spectacular. Lord of the Rings was left for dead for a really long time because they're such terrible books, right? Like, let's be honest. There's not a huge fan of Tolkien readers, and the fact that it was so hard to make the Silmarillion. Does that predate Lord of the Rings in terms of its publication?
I don't know.
But
I've never read it.
It's just, didn't we all try to start reading it? It was so bad or so hard.
I tried to start reading it. I tried to start reading The Fellowship of the Ring, and I was like, nope. Can't do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But my dad read The Hobbit to us growing up.
Isn't that interesting? I feel like, is anyone else on board? The Hobbit just fails to me as a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And really, the book's pretty terrible, honestly.
Really? What made your dad read The Hobbit of all things to you? How did he find such a terrible book?
Well, I think we had it on the shelf. I'm not sure.
Notes, yeah.
I'm not sure what it would have been, except that we had. So he read James Herriot to us.
Oh.
And he read Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. I always remember because he used to do voices for Pigwig.
Oh, really?
Pigwig. He'd like do the accent. It was ridiculous.
Funny.
And then he read The Hobbit.
Well,
I don't remember how it was picked.
Eric said it's an easy read. So if
it is easier, but it's still not. It's still like it's a lot. I remember being bored at times when he was reading. Like I do remember being like,
"Ouch."
Do you have to read this
I gotta run to
action
the
scene
bathroom
with the giants?
Luis, welcome in.
I think specifically the scene with the giants, where the campfire and the giants, whatever. I was like falling asleep. He would read like one chapter a night, and or sometimes a couple if they were short. But the ones, and I don't even really remember what happens in The Hobbit because I thought it was such a terrible book. I really enjoyed Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim and Watership Down and James Herriot, like All Creatures Great and Small, which actually is not even really a fiction book. It's a nonfiction book of a veterinarian in rural England. So that was, yeah, The Hobbit was definitely not my favorite read. I just know that he did read it to us. Maybe more than once. I don't know. I don't want to say he started reading The Fellowship of the Ring, but I probably fell asleep for all of them. If he finished the whole book, I don't remember. So, notes and notes, yeah. Well, like, that's my problem with J.R. Tolkien is, like, he has so much backstory and, like, he has to, like, create the world, and there's so much involved in creating the world, and he has to, like, cover all of the bases, and it's almost, like, obsessive to a point where, like, he's got to describe things that really don't even matter that much. It's like, maybe he was just obsessed with not having any holes in the world, and all the world had to, like, go together. Yeah. All the way, even Star Trek was basically. I don't know. What makes you say that? Based? Star Trek was based on Lord of the Rings? I don't get that. Are you talking about original Star Trek, right? Presumably. I don't see the connection with those two. But Novan had to read the Silmarillion, and he was like, whoa. Because he had to read like a certain level of book for school, and there were very few books like listed that were high enough level. And so we're like, oh, here, we actually own the Silmarillion. You can read this. Nobody's ever read it. You can read it. It was pretty terrible, though. And, but I remember trying to read Fellowship of the Ring. I didn't even get past the part where they talk about like the history of like the elves and all the histories of the histories, and it was too much. Are the scissors broken in your house, son? I don't get it. Ron Swanson. Is that the name of something? You have everything in caps, so I assume it's a name. Klingons are dwarves. Vulcans are... Okay. Okay. Sure. That seems like a pretty common trope, though. And you're saying that that came from Lord of the Rings? I'm trying to think of a book that would have come before. Like a fantasy book that's older than Lord of the Rings that might have played with those same ideas. Hi, John. We're talking about Lord of the Rings being what kickstarted the whole like Star Trek world. I guess. I don't know. I'd have to see if like whoever, I don't even know who wrote Star Trek. I'm a fan of Star Trek, but I don't know any of the like geeky stuff that people know about Star Trek. I just watched it growing up. 7:00 every night we watched it.
Star Trek?
Yeah.
Star Trek is awesome.
Eric was saying that Lord of the Rings is what Star Trek was based on Lord of the Rings.
I mean, it would make sense why your dad would be into both.
Yeah.
What's up, Ramon? Luis, how are you? Luis, did you see the new colors of Mitsuri in the shop? There are lots of brand new colors of Mitsuri. And then for everybody that's new, we're talking about, this is our last Book Talk Tuesday in the Colorable book series, mostly because we got to the last book that Rachel published, and it's going to be a sec before. What are you excited to continue down? We already know it's Sarah Rowan.
Yeah.
In the next one, are you excited to? Because for a while you've started and stopped and tried, and it hasn't been coming to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
You're still there. You're still like.
Well, I haven't written any. I've been working on other things.
Okay.
But the scene that I've written is a scene with Sarah Rowan, so Wendy's adoptive mother, and Carl. So they're on a road trip together in the opening scene, at least as it is right now. We all know that could change.
We all know that. Yeah, that's subject to be completely different.
Yeah, it could totally change, but I had to start with what I knew. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in Dreamworld? I think it's Dreamworld where Carl is describing Sarah, aka Lena's ability. And he's like, oh, she was looking at this map, and she was comparing the map to like the larger map and being able to predict what the road layout would be because she could spot patterns.
Bless you.
So I started with that scene where she was doing that with the map, and sort of like her internal monologue of like,
Does Wendy know? Wendy knows that Sarah isn't her mother, right?
yes.
Okay.
Not in the beginning of Color World, she doesn't, but now at this point.
Well,
in the
sure.
series,
Now,
yes, she
right.
does.
Sarah, in the book Sarah Rowan, or
Mhm.
at any world of the Waterworld series, Wendy already knows that Sarah Rowan or Lena is not her mom,
Mhm.
and her and Kaylin, Carl is their father.
Like, Carl is not Kaylin's father.
Okay, but that's
We also know that they're not biologically related either.
Kaylin and Carl, or Wendy and Carl.
Wendy and Carl are biologically related.
Right.
But Kaylin and Carl
Are not related. Okay, so do we know Kaylin's parents at all,
No,
mother
we do
or
not.
father?
No.
Okay, that's okay. So black box there. Wendy knows that Carl is her dad,
Mhm.
but doesn't know her mother.
Well, she never knew her mother because her mother died.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Do we know her mother?
We're going to meet her in Sarah Rowan. Well, no, actually, we don't meet her. She's already died in the part that I've written.
Holy
So,
cow.
We're
Okay,
not.
so only
I don't know that
Carl
well.
knows
Yeah.
Wendy, well, clearly because he got her pregnant. So
Obviously.
only Carl knows. We know Gabe's parents,
Yeah.
right?
So the parents that you haven't, the story you haven't heard. There's lots of stories you haven't heard, but the one that I'm moving toward telling is Sarah and Robert, because Sarah and Robert have Ezra. Ezra's parents are Sarah Rowan and Robert.
These are the extra larges in all colors. Do you want to box them or do you want
Oh, extra large.
You want to show them off? Yeah, extra larges.
Okay, sweet. Because these are the leftover extra larges, or these are the XLs.
These are the XLs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, show them off.
Look at the color variation.
It's Easter themed.
In Mitsuri. I'm obsessed with color. Is it?
This is Easter colors.
Do you ever find it interesting how relevant the word color world is in what I do?
Of course. It's so relevant in so many ways. It's a great. Whoever named the book series was a genius.
Wow. I would pat your back, but your hand is in the way, so I can't get in there to congratulate you on. So, Eric, you're just seeing these for the first time. Okay, Eric. So this is created by Eric. And Eric, let me show you these off. This is what I did. I don't know that Eric ever saw all the different color variations that I came up with for the Mitsuri Obani. Eric kind of hands in the art, and then I go over and I play with colors. And then I turn it in and produce the physical product. And so Eric kind of like hands it off to me and he taught me how to use Photoshop there's a pencil tool. It's a whole thing. So he taught me how to do Photoshop, and these are all the different colors of the Mitsuri. Eric, what do you think, bro, of all the different colors of Mitsuri? Oh yay! I'm so glad you like it. Every now and then I'm like, Eric's gonna see something I make and be like, Brad, you are so dumb. But I feel like I've done a good job learning color. And so these are all the different variations that I couldn't say no to. So Eric, if you have a favorite, maybe I'll just send you a cut. This series is crazy good. Are you talking about Demon Slayer, or are you talking about Color World, or are you talking about the shirts? Like what? When you say
a series of shirts,
is it
Easter? It's totally Easter colors.
I don't.
It's funny.
But is that what series is crazy? Book series, anime series, the shirts that I picked. I am excited. And somebody this is Frederick's order. He got all 9 colors. Yeah.
Every day of the week.
He got all 9 colors.
On Sunday.
Yeah. He got all 9 colors. Oh, the shirt. Yay! Thank you. Oh, all of them. So the book series is great. Demon Slayer is great. And Well, thank you, Eric. Dude, there is no me without you. Like,
Man, it's like some bro love up in here.
well, look, Eric and
Hey, I'm not arguing.
do you
I'm not
think,
arguing.
right? We make cool stuff together.
Yeah.
This is another one of the Eric and Brad show. This is the Kiowa. So there we go. Teal and aqua. Because I never say no to a good color combination. So the only thing that makes me sad is when like the black version of the shirts outsells the color. The black version of the Kiowa sells like crazy.
I'm sure.
But
Just because his hands stand
Well-
out more, and it's like it's hard to tell. Like you look at the camera, you gotta look like close.
no, it's cool because look at how pink the hands.
Okay.
I think it's cool. I love it. I love what Eric and I come up with. And I'm filling out a proposal, Eric, with Sentai Filmworks for the Akame ga Kill stuff. And I think, man, one approval and it's on, like Donkey Kong, Eric. I think our year goes drastically different if they approve that this design scheme. I think it's going to be crazy. Yes. Yeah, please definitely let me know. I would love to read any good color theory books. You know, the other thing I'll do, I'll give it away in terms of one of my secrets. I'm out in the wild a lot, and by wild I mean, I meet a lot of people at conventions, and I physically meet new people, and am exposed to people's varied tastes. And when I find a good shirt color palette, so somebody walks up to the booth. And I'm not looking at design at all. And they don't know that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. Can I take a picture? And I will literally take a picture of their shirt and then go throw it in Illustrator, eyedropper tool it, and steal the color palette. Because Color World, a lot of it is copy paste, right? So we find one thing that works and then we copy paste emails, copy paste, because we do, it's like assembly line, right? Ford Motor Company became successful because they invented the assembly line, and the assembly line is copy paste, right? The same different cars are based off the same chassis, and that's how the world. That's the copy paste. Successfully copying and pasting is how the world moves forward. Yeah, that's it. Like, you don't redesign. Reinventing the wheel is said in a pejorative way. And the derogatory nature of reinventing the wheel is like, hey, bro, there's already a wheel. It already works well. Why are you reinventing the wheel when it already exists? And so this stencil series is me trying it's reimagining the wheel without having to reinvent it. So I like what Eric and I do together. And that's a long explanation for the brand, but all those brand new Mitsuri shirts that I just showed off are in the shop if you all want to grab them. I also put in the 3 for $60 deal if you can't bring yourself to choose which shirt. And then I loaded in the other Demon Slayer shirts. So the Nezuko should be in there, the Zenitsu, and the Inosuke should all be in there. But more is coming. I've got to do the Spawn, Eric. We've got Comic-Cons coming up.
Are you done? Okay, because I got baby to take care of.
All right.
So if we can focus while I'm here,
I'm just,
and then you can do after.
We got the.
Shirts are great. I love shirts. This is Book Talk Tuesday.
I know, but Eric, is here. All right.
Eric is here, and Eric's participating.
Yes.
I have other things to do with my life.
I gotcha.
Okay.
We have 6 kids.
We do.
All right.
You lost your train of thought or something.
No, I'm always trying to decide like how much. I say that we're gonna jump in and we're gonna talk spoilers and stuff, but I'm always kind of cautious.
We don't really that much.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like it's pretty.
I try to talk in veiled language, where only if you've really read it are you connecting with the various ideas. I feel like there was a moment in Sariah where I was like, oh yeah, Wendy should easily be able to tell what's going on. Like I had forgotten about the sight and the hearing. After the plane doesn't crash, I'm like, everything's possible at this point. right? Like, there's nothing these people can't do. Why are they even worried that they're gonna get? I was never. Did your like continued insistence on talking about the tracker, was that to like deconvince me that they were okay? Like, did you feel the need to like, oh man, these people are so capable now? Did you feel the need to like reiterate how? I guess because I almost didn't believe. I didn't believe there would really be a tracker. I have to say, it wasn't until it came live that I was like, oh, Rachel's really gonna go there. Well, this feels like Nazi Germany, right? Like it's a really.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie? What's that movie where they suspend the law and like people just start killing each other?
I know what you're talking. I haven't seen it though.
Okay, is that where you got the idea?
No.
Like, so what made you think to force this genocide, not genocide?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Oh, okay,
That would be a spoiler.
okay. Well,
there is a reason though.
okay. Well, I thought it was such a heavy topic for you to take on.
It's definitely hard because it's so hard for me to imagine like wanting to hunt people down like that, but I know that it's very real that people would do that. You know, part
The
of
Purge, yes, thank you.
Part of it came from this whole like you and I talked about like masks versus not masks, and in a way like people who wear masks almost like identify themselves as feeling a certain kind of way. And it allows you to be targeted or stereotyped or whatever. And people who don't wear masks stereotype themselves as a certain way. So we kind of like, we mark ourselves when we wear masks as being a certain type of person.
Well, that definitely feels very Book of Mormon, right? Where the Lamanites like intentionally mark themselves. And I'm like, oh man.
Well, yeah, but they're marking themselves as opposed to, I mean, it's definitely inspired by like, you know, Holocaust type thinking.
Oh, with the Star of David, everyone being forced
like,
to.
But in this case, of course, they're being marked in a way that they can't even control. You know, it's possible to track them without.
Yeah, I thought I loved how logical your explanation for how this could be done. I was like, oh man, leave it to Rachel to figure out a very realistic way to track primes. I thought that was ingenious. And I love the whole autism. Like,
Yeah, I'm interested to see where that's going to
You're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm glad it's there.
Yeah.
Might need that.
Well, I told you, I knew that there is some relevance to autism in the book series because we've got Xavier's younger brother.
Yep.
We've got.
I love how you're
Matthias.
like, you like admit that you don't know what you're doing with that, like how relevant it is.
I know that it's relevant.
And then like they're talking to each other and they're like, I don't know. Is there a connection?
There's something.
Rachel's like, yeah, I mean, really, is there?
There is. I just don't know what it is yet.
So funny.
So,
now, how much of that comes from you have probably an autistic husband, definitely 2 autistic children. Like, how much of your, like, what do I do with this comes from your personal experience with autism?
Well, I've always had an interest in it. Even before Novin was autistic, I've always just been really...
Even before he was autistic.
Well, before he was born, recognized as...
Oh, you're saying before Novin's born. Because really, isn't it just a recent development in terms of like, oh, Novin, Spectrum? Although no, because we suspected...
No, because I suspected a
back
long time
in
ago.
ABC of North Carolina.
Well, before that, he was referred to be assessed, but I never followed through with it. Never followed through the assessment because I just felt like he's progressing. Why do I need to achieve services for someone who's clearly making progress?
Right.
Like it wasn't like he was stuck.
Well, I definitely felt like, man, did we bet. So ABC of North Carolina is an autistic serving. It's not a public school, right?
No, it's a private.
It's a private school. But we because Novin was never officially diagnosed with autism, got the benefit of sending Novin.
It's probably the reason I felt like I shouldn't get him assessed because once he's officially diagnosed, I would have had to pay through the nose for him to go to that school.
Yeah. And it's not that they don't, like, they do amazing work at ABC of North Carolina.
Mhm.
Like, absolutely amazing. But Novin was so
more typical. He was typical enough that it was a benefit to the
it
other
was
kids who were
huge.
super atypical and very hard. Like they really want to integrate kids
Right.
into public school. So having other kids who are more like typical.
So they had a reduced tuition for neurotypicals.
So it was like $180 a month. It was really cheap.
Super affordable.
For like 5 hours a day.
As opposed to like thousands of dollars a month if you were on the spectrum.
So I've always been intrigued by it. Just it's really like it's unlike any other like I don't even like calling it a mental disorder. It's not.
No.
It's just a different way of thinking, a different way for the brain to work, like just totally different.
Well,
and it just doesn't. It's not really on the like mental health scale at all. It's just simply.
Well, ever since the development of the term neurotypical versus neurodiverse, I love that categorization because to me at least, it doesn't identify. It escapes the term disability, at least for me. In my, I'm like, I see somebody with a disability differently than I see someone who's autistic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in some cases, there are certainly cases of autism being hugely debilitating. I mean, we see that a little bit in Xavier's younger brother. He's like, he doesn't talk, can't be by himself, like he can't take care of himself, he forgets to eat, he forgets to drink. He doesn't go to school.
And I don't remember that as much as, is it Matthias?
Matthias.
Okay. Matthias, you're confronted with it, and he is more of the what people typically think of with autism. I love that scene where Xavier punches him. And at first Sariah is absolutely mortified, and then Xavier's like, "Don't worry, I have a brother that's autistic." It's, he does it to save his life.
Originally it was Ryan who punched him.
Oh, really?
Sariah has kind of like a beef with, and even Ryan has an autistic brother, which is
that's true.
Yeah.
But Ryan is even with them in the draft of the.
It changed. I changed it.
Interesting.
So originally it was Ryan with them, and Ryan's the one that did it. But I felt like she would take it better from Xavier.
Well, I like her, like, when everything finally settles down and she's reflecting, she was like, "Man, my brother would be dead if it wasn't for Xavier." Or, yes.
My son?
My son, sorry. Yeah. Xavier has a brother.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, speaking of brothers and sons, it sounds like number 6. 6 out of 6 is on his way to us. He's about to be delivered. Yovel. Well, everything's going on Crunchyroll now, John. Everything, because Sony owns both Funimation and Crunchyroll. And as we discussed last week, Crunchyroll has such a bigger worldwide international footprint that Funimation is going to disappear. At some point, I need to swallow my medicine and get a Crunchyroll, but I really actually currently enjoy the way Funimation's laid out, and I don't like change that much. I like keeping things the same. All right. At what point did you know? Thanks Eric for dropping by. I'm really grateful that you like the Mitsuri. I try to take great care with your art to make sure that I don't put something on a t-shirt that you think is hideous and gross and disgusting. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at color. I just really like to push the color palette. So I'm grateful that you stopped by, and I'm glad, even more grateful that you like what I did with the Mitsuri. Oh man, what did I just say before Eric said goodbye? Okay, as far as Kaylin goes, the bomb is like literally the last chapter in this book. Like there's a when Rita warns them about Kaylin, did you give any credence, or did you already know at that point of writing?
So I wrote another scene in which they were taken captive by Loxos, and it's Kaylin was actually shot and was dying. And then I changed it completely.
That's intense.
But
But
she was still a plant. Like,
well, she could still end up shot at this. Like
she could.
everybody could end up shot at this point because it's literally like a bunch of people with shotguns headed towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Now in my head, I'm like, okay, Gabe, how badass are you, dude? Because we kind of need you right now. That's my thought. That's my thought is like, screw Wendy. Can Gabe save them?
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna have to definitely, there's got to be some limitations.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who is a very specific purpose and very specifically knows what they're doing can't really be convinced to change that purpose completely. Whereas when we're talking about the mob, he took advantage of it because there was so much there was no real leadership.
Well, and there's certainly not a clear definition of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah. So I think if you have a group that's united already under a certain cause, Gabe's going to have a lot harder time manipulating that.
Yeah.
So,
not to mention the fact that this cause, we're aware that it exists in Charlotte, and Charlotte is in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, where we're at in the present, I don't know how long, 100 years? Like how long are we talking for? Is it
Loxos has been around? Oh, very long time.
Okay, is it Loxos or
Loxos? The accent over the O makes it long. Loxos.
Loxos.
Yeah, it's Greek.
Okay, so at least 100 years they've been around?
Way more.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would say with that kind of, what happened to Yovel? I heard Yovel, and then nobody
had it under control.
Nobody ever brought him in here.
It was 56.
Yeah, it's absolutely spectacular storytelling. I did not see. I don't know. Like there was so little room between "Be careful of Kaylin" and there are 6 people moving towards us with shotguns that do not look to be dissuaded by your ability.
Well, yeah, we were supposed to get that warning from Rita, but then not take it seriously.
Oh,
because it's Rita and she's evil.
Yeah, but I kind of.
She has a little bit of
She has credibility by the time she says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody believes her, of course, because everybody loves Kaylin, right? Everybody has known Kaylin.
I don't know. She's gone for such a gigantic chunk of time that there's every reason in the world to believe Rita when she says that. There just wasn't any time to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like you would have had to like hear exactly what Rita said and then run. That's about it. That was like you either had to like run right when she said it, right? Because it's like the chapter before.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they would have handled the situation differently had they believed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And isn't Kaylin with Gabe? Yeah.
Yes. But there was never going to be any chance they were going to believe Rita anyway.
You don't.
Especially not Wendy.
You
She's
think
an empath who
you
can,
think
like,
nobody?
People.
Well, Wendy of all people would be able to tell she was telling the truth.
Do you think?
What do you mean?
Okay.
I think Wendy is suspicious, rightfully so.
There's suspicious of Kaylin?
Yes.
Okay.
You're telling me that she could pick out of there that Sariah was the mother, that Gabe is the father of Matthias, but she can't tell that Rita's telling the truth?
You don't think she can recognize? Matthias has to look like Gabe.
Blah, blah, blah.
I'd be, and Sariah's already like...
I think
right?
Wendy's put together the pieces because Sariah's there at the mansion in Wyoming.
Yeah.
By the time she gets
Yeah, she's obviously connected all of these things together.
Right.
And
you're saying that she can't? Come on. It's
look, you don't know anything. Like, we're making all these assumptions about Kaylin.
no, I'm making
Based on-
assumptions about Wendy.
Yeah, and Wendy. But we don't know anything. We haven't seen any commentary whatsoever. No internal monologue from Wendy's part. There's not really much to know.
But there was no internal monologue with Wendy when she called out Sariah and be like, "Go tell him that you're that's
Because we're not in Wendy's head.
sure."
We're in Sariah's head.
I get it.
So we don't know what led up to her saying that.
Well, I'm gonna put a plug in for Wendy believing Rita. When book 6, volume 6 comes out, I'm just saying, my quarter in the bucket, my 2 cents, my 2 pennies in there. Wendy believed her, but there's literally, because her first thought would be like, oh dang, Gabe is with Kaylin. That would be, to me, that's Wendy's first thought. Thank you for the follow, by the way. My first thought is that Gabe is with Kaylin, and because of the connection they all share, there's nothing that can be done. Because Gabe, on a power versus power, Gabe can't take Kaylin. She would chuck him across whatever. Who knows how? No, wait, he's got water. Oh, dang. I can't wait till book 6.
But Gabe can't control water really either. He just can't.
He doesn't need to control. He can just punch her. I don't think in a fist fight, I don't think Kaylin could take Gabe.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just-
I mean, anybody
Just
could
the
win
reach of
if
his
they
arm.
could get close enough to Kaylin could certainly take
Beat her up. Yeah.
And if she didn't think, or she didn't know that what they knew, then and allowed them to be close to her,
Yeah.
then obviously it would have to be somebody close to her to take her out.
Right.
Yeah.
Gabe's just the man to do it. He's a man of science. The man of science.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
She's.
You're lucky you got a whole book to think about this.
Yeah.
Would you be nervous right now if you had to write Wendy's book? Or do you have enough faith in the process that by the time you got back to that scene, how far back are you going to go?
I don't know. I really want to write. Because I really want to write the scene where she takes out the fire tornado. But
Wendy or Kaylin?
Well, because we can see it through Gabe's point of view, through Wendy. So we can see it. Wendy can see it happen.
Okay.
By virtue of Gabe.
Okay.
So she could be there as it's happening. I actually wrote that scene. Before I ever wrote it in Ezra's book, I wrote that scene from Wendy's point of view.
In volume 6?
Yes. For
Interesting.
Ezra's book. So, but then I ended up putting it in Ezra's book of him seeing it on a monitor. Which made me kind of sad because it's so much more exciting in person. It's like, so I wrote that. So I really want to include that, but it might just not end up because timeline wise, and there's going to be so much that's going to need to go into Wendy's book that I might have to leave out things that I really wanted to add.
What? Just make it bigger. We're all here. I love big books and I cannot lie.
And it has to be important for some, like there has to be some other aspect that we see that's important, and that's why we have to tell that point of view. Like, you can't just throw it in there for grins and giggles.
I mean, if you're saying timeline wise, we can't like see the fire
if
tornado.
I go too far
skip.
back, right, then it's like skip and skip and skip and skip. Really, I just need to bring all of their stories together in a cohesive way. I'm not really sure I'm going to do that yet. So we'll see.
Huh. It will be interesting. Are you dreading? Because every indication, at least in Sariah, is that Moshe Lim has thrown Wendy under the bus.
But you don't feel like she has, but then in Sariah you get the idea that maybe there's a greater plan to this. When she shows up with her son, and it's like, here's her son.
But you made
please keep him safe.
You made specific mention of how shocked you think Wendy was acting during that, where the verdict gets handed down.
I don't think she was. I think Wendy was certainly shocked in that moment, but I think she's smart enough to realize that Shia is smart enough to have orchestrated all of this. So I don't think that Wendy buys the Shia
turned on her.
Yeah, in fact, she says as much in Xavier's book, where Shia like turns off the power in New York, and Wendy's like, "Yeah, I knew," you know. She never felt like Shia had really turned on her.
But you're saying that being acquitted wouldn't have worked? That she needed to be convicted?
Yeah, she needed to be convicted because she needed to be subject to the law so that society would still stand. And then she needed to make crimes an enemy.
So, okay, so are you saying then in the O.J. Simpson case that we lost society? You're saying
Sure. I'm positive that reinforced the idea that
rich people are
rich
above
people
the law?
can get away with whatever. But more importantly,
So then what did you want to say about Wendy? Because that is the truth of the world we live in. Michael Jackson acquitted. As much as I hate to say it out loud, P. Diddy acquitted. O.J. Simpson acquitted. Like, we have all these really, really high-profile cases in which the evidence seems to say there's enough there. Like, Shine took the fall. And I don't know. I don't know who held the gun in the club. I just know that there was a very real possibility at that point in time that Diddy was going to jail for the person who died, either as an accessory or something, and then somehow.
yeah. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I presume it's about somebody being convicted who actually did.
Shine.
Okay, cool. So, yes, Wendy needed to uphold the law. That's the whole reason she allowed herself to be even taken. She could have easily not even gone through trial if she really wanted to.
What is, do we know Wendy's, do you know Wendy's, do we know Wendy's motivation for?
Well, she trusts Shia. And also, she wants to prove to the guild that she's willing to go through the process.
So Wendy killing Andre, do we have that?
But it doesn't gain her anything, which is why she goes along with this whole breakout thing.
What doesn't gain her anything?
Allowing herself to be subject to the law doesn't win her any allegiance in the council. Like, they still hate her just as much as they always have.
Right.
And could care less. And it's always been about trying to take her down. And once she realizes that, she's like, well, all bets are off now. I don't need to follow your rules because you're just trying to get rid of me.
You're saying that Wendy thinks at any point that she can win the council over?
Yeah. She's young and naive. Like, she's trying to go by the rules.
I don't know, man. I don't see.
And there are some in there that aren't completely unreasonable. So, yeah, sure. She's trying to follow the rules of the council. And honestly, if she follows the rules of the council and still they try to take her down, she can feel that much more confident about, like, crushing them all under her feet.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
When it comes down to it. And then she's more justified in that.
Is she still the lead? Does she still control the guild?
Well, control is a strong word because still technically she doesn't, but she controls it in that she has influence because of her popularity.
But doesn't she at one point take control of the council? Doesn't she use the rules?
She blackmails them. She blackmails them.
Well, she uses the rules.
Yeah. She takes control by blackmailing them with what they, and I use
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not really blackmail.
She's holding this.
It's a rule, though, I thought she.
Yeah, they've broken the rules, and she points that out to them. And not only that, they've broken the guild's, their purpose. Like, their purpose was supposed to be protect humanity. But in reality, they've been protecting these safe zones and have not told anybody about them.
Right.
So therefore, they've been protecting themselves. They haven't been protecting humanity. And so she uses that information to say, like, well, I know that you've been doing this. And so that's how she takes control, is, using this against them.
But she still has control of the guild, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less.
I'm saying her conviction, is there anything in the guild bylaws to remove her from her position?
No, she can't be. There's nothing,
there's
no way for them, other than killing her, which
certainly seems they're okay with. Or at least all of them except for Shri.
Yeah. But she's uncovered enough corruption that even the council wasn't aware of, that
Are you saying the other various groups?
Other various groups what?
Like when you say she's uncovered corruption, are you saying what was going
No,
on?
corruption within the guild.
But are you counting the other groups?
Oh, that might be infiltrating?
Sure. Well, because don't they kind of find out about Andre? Don't they kind of find out about
Yeah.
oh my gosh, Horatio?
Yeah.
And then Loxos. You have to think that Loxos has at least a council member or two, right? There's no way at this point
maybe. I haven't decided that yet.
Well, how did they escape for this long?
Boxers?
Yeah.
Escape from who?
From detection, from
They're really good. They're really good.
I don't
Which
know.
we will find out in Sarah Rowan's book.
Oh man. I'm excited.
We'll find out about that.
Well, let's hope that we can get Sarah Rowan's book this year. That's going to be my prayer every day for Sarah Rowan's book to come out this year. Well, thank you, Rachel, for spending 9 weeks with us every week talking about the books in the book series. It's been awesome to get to go back down memory lane, and I'm excited to pick up a copy of Shadow World and start reading. I'm excited for the audiobook to come out because I feel like there's so much more that I'm going to catch this time that I feel like the question is, do I tell any of the actors? Well, Jeremy will have read most of. I need to find out where Jeremy's at in the series. I need to find out where Brittany is at in the series too. This is really, really awesome stuff. And with any luck, Aaron can help me reach out to. I really want Lionsgate. I want to work with Lionsgate on the movies. I feel like that's their wheelhouse. Like this series is Lionsgate's wheelhouse. So, all right, everybody out there, help me get
send him a tweet.
Help me get this book series in the hands of Lionsgate so we can get these movies started because this story is absolutely incredible. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for asking lots of questions.
Well, you know me, I'm a man of many questions.
Hopefully we haven't left people like confused. Because I feel like we talk about it, unless you've like literally read it, it just sounds like.
So anybody that is watching on Pop Shop, you can actually go to the Color World book. You know what's funny? Like because the keyboard is below the phone, I always feel like if I type on the keyboard, it will show up on the phone. But the computer's right there too. Yeah. So Color World books on social media, including YouTube, is you can go back and watch any of the Book Talk Tuesdays, except ironically enough, the very first one about Color World. I feel like now that we know what we're doing, I want to go back and do the Book Talk Tuesday, the Color World Book Talk Tuesday. I might even reread Color World and then do a 2-part color, because part of it is you becoming a writer and you're like me almost making you publish the books. And then the other part is completely independent of any influence. You wrote the first 3 books of the series never intending to publish. Right? Color World, Teleworld, Luma World.
Well, I don't know that never intending is. I wasn't like, I will not publish.
Well, sure.
Like I didn't have any active plans for publishing.
Okay, which like all other authors.
I don't know. Do all other authors have every intention of publishing?
Well, I would think so.
Well, I was going to publish it, but market it's different. I certainly was going to put it on.
What would be the intention to publish without ever marketing it?
Just to have it out there. You know, if someone's like, hey, yeah, I read a book. Oh, can I read it? Yeah, totally. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Oh, man.
I've known people that do that. They write a book and they just put it on there and then that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man. It is definitely winning the lottery for anybody. Is Urza your favorite?
Yes.
Okay. So Fairy Tail is both of our favorite animes. Gajeel is my favorite. And then Urza is Rachel's favorite character from Fairy Tail. Well, thanks, Rachel. I think we'll probably cut it there. We'll do last call. Rachel, I can. I will see you. Yeah, I'll scoot over, and then I'll see you across the street to help with dinner. Appreciate Michael, welcome in. Jonathan, welcome in. Gisela, welcome, and thank you for the follow. Appreciate everybody. I have not seen Yasuhime in quite a while, John. As far as One Piece, I feel like it's Punk Hazard. I think it's Punk Hazard. The island where that gas fruit dude, and they are running. They're running and running and running, and I feel like all the different pieces of the Straw Hat Pirates are coming together, and the one kid ate all of the candy so that none of the other kids could take it anymore and feel its ill effects. So that's where I'm at in One Piece. I know there's more ahead of me. I'm just super, super busy with all of the various plates that I have spinning. Meaning you're saying there's not that many more episodes of dub for me to watch, John? I thought there was a whole nother season after that, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know on Pop Shop if you have any questions. We have the catalog is a little bit of a mess right now. The toys from Total Toy Tuesday are in the catalog right now. The books, all the books in the Color World book series are in the catalog right now. And then some metal bookmarks are in there. And then all the brand new Mitsuri Obani. For those who missed earlier when I showed off all of the colors of Mitsuri Obani, this is our brand new stencil design for Demon Slayer. The Mitsuri is available in a lot of really cool. Rachel said it's my introduction to the spring season, all of the spring colors, and I guess that's true. I kind of cater what we're producing to what kind of shirt colors are available for Bella Canvas, and then Bella Canvas is obviously introducing their spring line, and so that obviously those available color choices are influencing me, but I'm excited, really excited for this this lineup. These will be at a physical event. They'll be at both Anime Detour this weekend and Triad Anime. So if you're in North Carolina or Minneapolis or Minnesota or near one of those states and want to go check out and see in person, the Killua will obviously be there. And then for anime, I don't think I'm. Let's see. Yeah, but all 1,013 episodes aren't dubbed. I don't think I've crossed over into the 700s. I think I'm in the high 600. Okay. Is Cake Island the next arc after Punk Hazard? I feel like Punk Hazard is the arc I'm on. Hey, welcome back, Kimberly. Oh, man. Kimberly, if you want me to hold up those colors of Mitsuri again, let me know. I will go through all the different colors of Mitsuri. Okay. So that is our Total Toy Tuesday show and our Book Talk Tuesday show. If anybody wants to see any of the several wares for either of those categories, you all let me know. I can tilt back up. There is the toy collection. There we go. There's the last Kirishima. There's only 2 of the Karapikas left. I have some Nezuko, Gagio, Panther Lily, Gohan, Liz from Soul Eater, the 6th Path Sage Naruto. Okay. So I thought so. So there's a whole nother arc that's already dubbed before Cake Island. So by the time Cake Island comes out, I will still probably be in. Oh yeah. So I have dozens and dozens of dub episodes of One Piece left. Well, cool. I'm excited. I do like One Piece a lot. Be on the lookout I would say in another, things usually take longer than you want them to. So probably somewhere between 30 to 60 days from now, we're going to have all kinds of cool One Piece apparel. We are working on that right now, this second. That plan, that deal, that partnership is coming together. So I will be excited to offer all sorts of really cool One Piece. I guess I could tilt this monitor up and show off the toys that are up there. The brand new Endeavor figure. I have the brand new Endeavor figure. Where is it? There we go. Brand new Endeavor figure is in the shop right now. I love Endeavors. Like, part of the new Endeavor look is like a new hair product, because his hairstyle is. Can you see it? No, you can't see it from the top. There you go. Look at that new hair gel that Endeavor has going on right there. That's a slick haircut. So Endeavor got a haircut update along with his new costume. Hey, Frederick. All right, Frederick, are you ready, bro? Do you want this to be a surprise, or do you want me to show you each of the colors that you grabbed tonight for? Let me know. I can show you, or it can be a total surprise, and you saw the thumbnail. But let me know, Frederick, if you want me to show off your stack of Mitsuri Obani. I will. And then after that, I think my stomach is telling me I need dinner sooner rather than later.
That's awesome.
Yeah, One Piece is a huge cast, John, and there has to be some pretty serious sound engineering in order to make that happen. Not only that, but there's so much more content being produced, John, and so directors are stretched thin, producers are stretched thin, actors are doing all sorts of shows. You are good. Thank you, though. Okay, good. So then I will just go ahead and box this up for you then. I think you're going to be really excited when you get your stack. Every single one of these is a different color. I'm super hyped. That's a really cool. Thanks for grabbing those. All right. If everyone's good, I'm going to say goodnight and go help. Yes. I'm excited to send it out. They announced earlier, they were like, all right, we pulled all of Frederick's order for Missouri. So I'm excited to package that up and send it to you. It'll be in the mail tomorrow because we like to ship super fast here at Color World. All right, I'm going to bounce off here if everybody is good. And then if you need us, you can always go to colorworldlive.com or social media at Color World Books.
I found more salt and pepper sleep.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your night. We will be live for Free Shipping Friday. We're also going to participate in the Star Wars show on Saturday. So I'll be getting that we just got approved for that event. I will get that preview up after dinner tonight. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us for the last Book Talk Tuesday until Rachel finishes with the next book in the series, and we will see you somewhere on the internet or in person this weekend at Anime Detour and Triad Anime. Anime Detour, Triad Anime. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. All right, take care, you guys.